Krav Maga, the Hebrew term for close contact battle, is now a popular self-defense technique in Israel and abroad. Those teaching Krav Maga say you don't have to be a combat soldier to practice it. This discipline is one that anyone can learn in order to be ready for whatever danger that might come. And our own Danny Swibel thought it's time to give it a try.
You may have heard about Krav Maga.
Krav Maga!
Krav Maga?
The close combat Israeli fighting technique used by the Israeli Defense Forces. The phenomena has spread worldwide in recent years, but in fact it's been around for decades. I came across Nakash Gym in Tel Aviv, launched by one of the best Krav Maga fighters in the country, and wanted to know more.
The good thing in Krav Maga, and this is the reason that people all over the world, security guys, police officers doing Krav Maga, is you don't need years of training. After 1 hour, I can give you tool.
Even 1 hour seemed a bit of a stretch, but I wanted to put it to the test myself. Ran told me that all the training or technique in the world would mean nothing without the endurance, so he first made me do 1 hour of CrossFit training. Rope climbing, pull-ups, box jumps, burpees, this bar lift thing. In any sort of combat situation, adrenaline pumps and your heartbeat rises, so being prepared to operate in that intense state is everything.
I want to be in this situation in training, meaning I need to fight, I need to spar a little bit, okay? And then when you mix it up, the Krav Maga technique, the fighting, and the condition all together, then you become like a fighting machine.
Krav Maga was developed by Jewish-Hungarian martial artist Amy Lichtenfeld just before World War II for the Jewish community to defend itself against fascist groups in Europe. It was tricky figuring out the techniques at first. I told them not to be too easy on me, and they weren't. Within the first 5 minutes, I got hit on the side of the head, as well as kicked in the groin, one of the surefire ways to neutralize your opponent. I had to catch on fast.
Krav Maga is not martial art. There is no art in Krav Maga. Okay, we have only one rule, stay alive. Any situation that I can use something, chair, stick, weapon, I will do it.
I moved to ground combat, sliding out of a situation, getting the upper hand, and trying to stand up to get out of danger. I was exhausted, but went right on to boxing. Not only being able to throw a punch, but to ensure you neutralize any potential attacker. Jab, cross, hook, kick, keep your guard up so you don't get hit back.
In every situation, you need to become an animal. Okay, this is the only reason that you will survive in this situation.
A series of lone wolf knife attacks have occurred in Israel in the last year, killing soldiers and innocents. Krav Maga experts like Ran and i24News introduced knife attack simulations into their everyday classes.
It doesn't matter how big and strong the guy and the attacker is, okay, if I take my fingers all the way inside his eyes, okay, in this battle, I will win. So this is Krav Maga.
Not only have foreign militaries adopted the method, recruiting former Israeli army soldiers to teach their troops, but civilians worldwide have sought lessons. My training for the day was complete, finally. I think Ran and the guys were impressed with my efforts, but most importantly, I feel I was significantly more prepared for an unknown, dangerous situation.
And Danny's here with me in the studio. Hi, Danny. Thank you for coming.
How you doing today?
I look at you and I see you in one piece. You didn't come and crawling to the studio. Looks like you're fine.
I made it here in one piece. I'm still hurting in the inside.
We're not going to tell anybody. Don't worry about that. But after that lesson, which at least in my eyes looks very, very intense, do you really feel that this is a technique that gives you the tools to walk out alive, as the guy said, walk out alive from any situation that may happen?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not just saying this. It was 3 intense hours of training, because Ran said that you can know all the technique in the world, but the thing is, if you don't have the endurance, because when something serious happens, your heart rate goes up, you start breathing heavily, so you need to be able to withstand a lot of the things that are happening with that intensity. So to go through the CrossFit training was intense to get your heart rate up, and it definitely got my heart rate up. But then the boxing and the Krav Maga, all the techniques are just so, very basic to begin, because obviously he's a pro boxer, he's been doing this for years, he trained people throughout the army, but the thing is, just little techniques to dodge punches, to know how to counter punch, to know how, if you're caught on the ground, sometimes, you could try to figure out all these more advanced things, sometimes just the basic things, grabbing whatever's around you, grabbing a chair, gouging somebody with your fingers in their eyes. So it was all these very basic things to help me get through.
And what was really impressive to me is that he said, you don't have to be a big, grown-up combat soldier. anyone can do this.
That was the most remarkable thing. I mean, you had, definitely people of all different sizes. You had men and women who were doing it. And, some of the girls there, they were the scariest ones I felt who were in the gym. And the thing is, they were very patient with me, throwing me how to throw a punch. Even sometimes, I was in the ground and, I've done a little, certain like fighting on the ground, but they're like, great. So you could do it against one person, but then one of their friends could come by and stomp you in the face. So how do you get out of that situation? So it really tells you how to be scrappy, how to use their technique, mixed with the endurance, mixed with some of the philosophies behind it, and you become a fighting machine, an animal. And that's what I was trying to be. I hope I lived up to it.
Well, Krav Maga certainly seems like something we all have to try, especially if you want to walk out of those situations. Danny Swibel, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.